with the puck sow is the slapping hand. Primarily the blocking surface, palm, obviously, lock your thumbs and fingers out of the way. We're looking to deflect the punch, oncoming punch, to either primarily the blind side, but it can very rarely happen on the inside. But it's going to be a high percentage of the time working on the blind side. There's not a lot of force required, but you have to be braced. You can't do it sloppily. Punch coming at you at 60 miles an hour from a big guy, even if there's no real force, the force is at the end of the fist, if there's no real force that you're doing, we're still dealing with mass and acceleration. So we do have to have some athleticism in the block. It does have to push and snap. So we want to deflect the block from side to side. The inside hand, and you probably hear me say this a few times, it has to withdraw to the inside position near the elbow. And I'm constantly picking on little things like the inside hand getting sloppy and being too relaxed and not being in play. And I look at it like this, that at any given moment as the angles change in combat, the primary blocking hand can become secondary, and the secondary blocking hand can become primary. So if it's not braced or flexed, not rigid, but sort of, I use the word engaged, that means it's not ready to go. So I've got to set it before I use it. So when I'm blocking, after I've kind of got a handle on the puck sow, I start looking at the bigger picture, where my balance and centre of gravity is, which we've addressed in the footwork section, and what my left hand or rear hand is doing, so that I'm constantly trying to keep it under control, make sure it's engaged the whole time. That way I'm addressing my opponent with my entire physiology, not with one portion shut down. This is where it gets very interesting. Why blocking drills, random blocking drills, are superior to predetermined blocking drills. Because there's an unusual phenomenon occurs. If it's a predetermined blocking drill, and the punch is coming in on a constant rhythm, your brain starts to shut down. Your brain will only engage as much as it needs to, and it will start to switch off what it doesn't need. It will also switch off aspects of your physiology. As your body realizes that only so much of your core needs to be engaged, and only so much of your back muscles or shoulders or triceps, whatever part of your physiology isn't being taxed or isn't under pressure, it will slowly shut it down. So that means I end up doing the drill and I'm not totally engaged. So random blocking drills, or where there's any variable or random aspect to it, creates a certain physiological intelligence. The body has to stay engaged the whole time. The brain has to stay engaged. So I'm getting off the beaten track a little bit, but when you do these drills and you practice these blocks with your partner, do as much of it as you can in variable or random format, and you will yield much better training results.